I am so excited to be here, and it's such an incredible honor to kick off tonight's big event. And I cannot see a single thing, but I am going to ask for some class participation. I need to hear, are you guys in for that? Okay, I need more than that. Are you guys in for that? Yes, okay. So for those that don't know, I'm Jennifer Wilder. I am the owner of Laney & Lou, an inspired eatery in Portsmouth, Ginger Fox, an artisan bakery in Stratham, and I'm also a coach for women in business. And I'm trying to take my own medicine by actually introducing myself, because oftentimes I would like to just stand back and just say, hey, I'm Jen. Because to me, the right event it's all about you guys. And that's what we're really here today, is to educate and inspire and empower you guys. And I'm really hoping that you leave feeling that way, and I'm really hoping that I get to have a tequila with you at the after party. Amazing. So I am actually pretty excited because I feel like I can brag tonight for a couple different reasons. One is, who's done their Spotify end of year review? Let's go, yeah. Okay. Did anyone else have Seacoast Stories as their number one? Oh my goodness. Okay, I did. Thank you. Top 3% listener here nationwide. Thank you. Very proud to say that Seacoast Stories beat out Mel Robbins and in my listenership. And when I heard when Spotify told me that I had listened to thousands of minutes of Seacoast Stories, I thought, wow, I do a lot of driving. And most of the time I'm driving around listening to Seacoast Stories, I see Troy on his bike. And I just think that is so weird. So weird, but also amazing. And how amazing is it that we get to have such a powerful podcast being, put together and produced and all the things right here in our community. I think that's amazing. Amazing. So I'm just curious, since you guys have already failed the number one Spotify question, I'm just curious, has anyone here listened to 10 podcasts by Troy or more? 10 or more. If you have, stand up. 10 or more if you have, stand up. Okay. 5 or more if you have, stand up. 3 or more. Keep standing, keep standing, keep standing. 3 or more, stand up. 2, stand up, keep standing. 1. Wow. Okay. Part of me wants to send all the people still sitting out. But you did come tonight. So afterwards, you're in the club. No. Keep standing. If you're not standing, please stand, because we feel sorry for you. Thank you. Turn to your neighbors, say hello, give them a high five, give them a hug. Tell them your name. Tell them your name. Wow, everyone here has like 30 names. I'm already finding out that this crowd does not follow directions very, very well. Okay, please sit down. This is why I'm not a teacher. Please tell them your name. Well, let me tell you where I went to school, where I grew up, and what I do for business, because I really want you to be my customer. Okay, so anyway, one of the things that I do when I speak is I try to do crowd engagement, which we've just done. But another thing I like to do is a technique called call and response. And one of my prime call and responses is, are you all in? And then you guys say, we're all in. Okay, so are you all in? We're all in. Wow, nice job on the first try. Let's do it again. Are you all in? Yes. No. We're all in. I'm all in. Okay, ready? Let's try it again. Are you all in? I'm all in. All right, perfect. I just heard a little excerpt from Brené Brown where she said, courage is when someone is willing to be all in when they actually don't know what the outcome will be. And as soon as I heard that, I thought, oh, I'm going to use that tonight. Because to me, that describes Troy to a T. Because the story of Troy, if anyone have you heard the podcast that I interviewed him with? No, half of you were sitting down, so I know the answer is no. But we talked a little bit about the history, and the history goes well beyond my involvement, but what my little part is having a conversation with Troy in May of 2024, where he just asked me, do you think this is a good idea? And my answer, of course, was yes. And I think this community is ready for something like this. And I think this community will embrace something like this. And I'm very excited to say, obviously, he implemented, but the speed of which he implemented was insane. And for anyone that has been, part of a podcast, put on a podcast, owned a small business, started a movement, activated a community, you know that what Troy has done is incredibly special, incredibly challenging, and so noteworthy. So to be here tonight to witness him and what he's created is an absolute honor for me, and I hope that you will feel the same when you walk out the door. So I'm going to ask you again, are you like Troy Farkas? Are you all in? All in! Fantastic. It is my absolute honor to welcome to the stage of Seacoast Stories Live, your host, Troy Farkas.
Hello, everyone. Wow, shout out to Jennifer Wilder of Laney and Lou, Ginger Fox fame. Yeah, all in, baby. She was right, I cannot see a thing, but I like the bright lights, so this is great. Thank you, everyone. So excited to have you here. Seacoast Stories Live, the third time we have done this year. Were any of you at the press room in January? Give me some noise if you're at the press room in January. Okay, no one. Great. What about the Word Barn in June? Who was at the Word Barn? Okay, we had more folks there. Well, that makes sense because the show is infinitely more popular here in December of 2025 than when we took the stage in January. So I'm so excited to be here tonight. As Jen said, I'm all in. I've made this my full-time career this year. I've gone all in time-wise. Yeah, clap it up for that. I love doing this show. I love this town. This is such a special town, such a special area with people doing all sorts of incredible things. We tell the inspiring stories of the people, businesses, and newsmakers that make the Seacoast an American hidden gem. This show is brought to you by our dear friends at Three Bridges Yoga. We've got some Three Bridges yogis in the house. Love my Three Bridges crew. I'm a little biased. I also work there. Our main event of the evening, Erin Holt, she used to work at Three Bridges. Dagan, who we'll bring out soon, he's practiced at Three Bridges. And we have all sorts of yogis in the house as well. We've got a bunch of people who are just at Seacoast Stories Dinner Club at various restaurants across town. So thank you for making the trek here. We've got some people from Port City Lifestyle Magazine are here as well. I think they're going to do a little something on Seacoast Stories soon. So look at us, we've made it. And thank you so much to the beautiful people at 3S Artspace for having us. I think we put this together in March. So this has been in the works for a long time. So excited to finally take the hallowed grounds of this here stage. So that's my spiel. We've got a big show lined up for you tonight. Let me tell you about the main event of the evening, which is what we will conclude with. So excited to talk to this person tonight. As you know, if you're familiar with my story, I've produced some very popular podcasts at very big media companies around the world, heard by hundreds of thousands of people around the world. And I've been a producer for some hosts who have millions of followers and millions in the bank and Emmy awards and every single recognition that you can have in the book. And tonight's headlining guest belongs in that exact same category. Erin Holt has a combination of knowledge and talent and humor and wit and stage presence unlike anyone I've ever seen before, and she is just one of many people on the Seacoast who are doing big things, not only in this area, but whose impact is also being felt far beyond the boundaries of the Seacoast. So we are very lucky to have her and very excited for her to return to the podcast in our main event of the evening. Before then, we also have someone who is returning to the podcast. It is one of my favorite human beings on the Seacoast. Now, I say that about a lot of people on the Seacoast because there are so many tremendous Seacoast human beings, and many of you are in the room tonight. This one, arguably the best hugger on the Seacoast. Big, warm heart, like such a deep thinker. Doesn't do surface level, which she's my kind of person. She likes to talk about death. We talked about death a lot in our podcast in May. She's also a musician, so she's going to play some of her signature love songs. She's a marketing strategist behind some of the most popular brands the Seacoast has to offer, like the Functional Nutritionist, like Vernon Family Farm, which Vernon Family Farm is being represented here tonight as well. Shout out to Nicole Vernon. As a performer, Laura Fox has taken the stage at the Press Room, at the Word Barn, and here at 3S Artspace, and she will do so again very shortly. Clap it up for that. And to kick off tonight's events, we have someone who is making his Seacoast Stories debut. Woo! Very excited to talk to this man. Now, to break the fourth wall, as we say in the business, take you behind the scenes. So I'm sitting at Liar's Bench a couple months ago, and I'm sitting with Joe Kelly, the assistant mayor of Portsmouth, owner of Cup of Joe, and I tell Joe, I'm doing this live podcast in December at 3S Artspace. I've got Erin Holt booked. I've got Laura Fox booked. So I've got two women, and I need a man. I need to counter the feminine energy that's going to be in the room. And I need it to be a Portsmouth person, because Laura is a Maine woman. Erin lives in bumfuck New Hampshire. I need someone to really represent the community feeling that Portsmouth is so known for. Who you got for me, Joe? You know this area better than me. She's like, Dagan, you idiot. As he was right around the corner, Joe's staring at Dagan as she says this. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Liar's Bench is a community hub. People love this place. I've heard great things about Dagan. We should have Dagan on the show. And so what do I do whenever I need a contact? I go to my dear friend Kate Constantine from Gather, which I believe Kate's here tonight. She's basically become a de facto co-host of Seacoast Stories. She appears in every other piece of content I put out, so shout out to Kate. She was the one that made the inroads to Dagan for me, and lo and behold, Dagan said yes. So let me tell you about this man. He is a proud native of upstate New York. I found out that he basically grew up the town over from me, so we have that in common. He is a UNH grad. He worked in a bunch of Portsmouth restaurants, worked at Jumpin' Jay's, worked at Franklin Oyster House, RIP, and he is now the co-owner, co-founder of Liar's Bench Beer Co. Everyone, please give a warm Seacoast Stories welcome to Dagan Migirditch. There he is. Yeah. Let's go. Dagan from Liar's Bench, everybody.
Hello, hello.
How many beers deep are you, Dagan?
Just one, which is rare for me on a Friday. Although,
oh my God, you have
let's
a beer
make
in your
that
pocket.
two, Troy.
Let's go.
Let's put it here for branding purposes.
I love to hear that. This is so weird. You are so far away from me right now. Usually when I do my interviews, we're sitting on top of each other. So we will...
Are you scared of intimacy?
We will adjust. Can you guys change the slide, please? Show Dagan's lovely face. There he is. Thank you. Dagan, so there's a bunch of things I want to talk to you about tonight, but first, so there's sometimes when I'm doing my pre-interview with people, I do a pre-interview with everyone, okay, what do we want to talk about? And sometimes I'll be like, save it for the show, because I have to hear this in person. I have to react in real time. So I told you when we talked previously that you had to save for the show the story of how you discovered yoga. Yoga is going to be a theme on the night because everyone is touching yoga in some way, and Three Bridges is our sponsor. So, Dagan, tell me the crazy story behind how you discovered yoga.
Yeah, very atypical path. I was backpacking around New Zealand back in 2010. And in the process of backpacking, you are trying to save as much money as humanly possible. I befriended somebody who offered me a place to stay, and a place to crash. The only catch was that they lived in a yoga studio and they were not allowed to have guests. So I had to sneak out during the first class of every day and then come back for the last class, take the class, and then lie in Savasana for what felt like about 3.5 hours while everybody petered out. And then finally I would have a place to crash for the evening. I am so grateful for that, though, because I do not know if I would have continued the practice. It was a Bikram class, and I'm a very sweaty individual, as I'm sure will become very apparent here in a matter of moments. But I don't know if I could have handled the heat without the repetition. So it was actually a blessing in disguise.
So you were hooked after that, though?
I was not totally hooked after the first one. It was about the fourth one when I fell in love with the euphoric feeling and then have made it a lifelong practice.
Okay, and no one ever blew up your spot. You were never detected.
Never detected. Undetected throughout. Very stealth. I'm pretty
Okay.
good at sneaking in and out of places.
Okay, good for you. All right, so let's move on to the Dagan Migirditch story. So you move here, right? And after college, and you start working in the J Group restaurant scene, right? You you studied science at UNH, right? But then you were working
English,
in the restaurant.
but yeah.
English, same thing. And then you were working in the restaurant scene, and you decided, you know what? I like this path more.
Yeah, I got out of college, and it was two paths. It was either stay in academia and pursue a PhD in English, or it was become a feral animal and join the restaurant industry in Portsmouth. And I picked the one that suited me best.
So this is obviously before my time on the Seacoast. So take me back to the Portsmouth restaurant scene, 2010-ish time.
Still very robust. A little more mom and pop, a little less big money. It was a wonderfully incestuous scene of people who were working in multiple different restaurants and going to after parties after the restaurants closed, or maybe keeping the party going within the restaurant itself. And I think there's still a lot of that DNA here in town, but I fell in love with a camaraderie. This town has, from a gastronomical perspective, has always punched outside of its weight. And just being inside of a restaurant like Jay's, that at that point was, I believe when I joined here, they were 10 to 12 years old. So it was in this interesting saddle of, it was a Portsmouth institution, but it was still creating and discovering its identity. And to be along for the ride and to meet people who would become my mentors, people who would become my longtime friends. It made a huge impact on me. And the broader community, too, was so close-knit that when you're a young person and you are discovering your own individuality, but you can place that within a broader community, it was the perfect landing spot for me after university.
Right. And I want to talk about the revitalization of the West End and kind of the state of downtown Portsmouth restaurants in a little bit. But all right, so your college buddy Dane, who is your co-founder of Liar's Bench.
Yep. College roommate.
Incredible. So you guys at some point put your heads together and are like, we got to do something here, right?
Yeah. Dane, after school, he moved out west, was brewing professionally in the Bay Area in San Francisco. He first was working at a big international Pilsner brewery called Trumer, and then eventually became the head brewer at a place called Magnolia. And a lot of the inspiration for what we do at Liar's Bench comes out of Magnolia. It was a locals pub. It made English and German styles. It was not chasing the IPA trend. I went out and visited him numerous times and fell in love with the scene out in San Francisco, but I was back here, like I said, working professionally in the restaurant industry. Started as a busboy at Jumpin' Jay's, worked my way up to a manager, and at one point in about 2014, Dane had come home for the holidays. It might even have been about 11 years ago to the day almost. And we both were kind of looking at each other, feeling like we had risen to a position where we thought we understood how to run an establishment on our own and decided to make the leap. So 2015, Dane packed up his car, drove back from San Francisco, and we started pursuing opening Liar's Bench.
Wow. Yeah. So what was the original vision for Liar's Bench that you guys had, and how'd you make it happen?
Well, it's funny because I feel like now, almost 10 years in, we are finally achieving the original vision. But when we started, we knew we wanted to focus first and foremost on a taproom experience. I have great reverence for the table. I think it's perhaps one of humanity's greatest inventions. Very simple, very elegant, but it is so powerful. It brings people together, sits them across from one another, it makes them look each other in the eyes. And beer is, I know beer these days is, some people are moving away from it. I'm moving right towards it. Woo! But we wanted to create a space where everybody could come together. Anybody can come together. All the animals are welcome at the watering hole is kind of one of our ethos. And we were bucking some trends from the beer industry, which were production oriented, chasing some of those hype beers, the IPA, the hazy IPA, which are phenomenal products. But we wanted to bring people to us. We wanted to sit down with them, and we wanted to enjoy each other's company over a beer. And now, 10 years later, it feels like starting as a small 3-barrel brewery serving 4-ounce pours and evolving to a pretty much full-service restaurant where we have seen children grow up to be teenagers, where we have seen people get married, we have seen people get divorced and fall in love again. We've made friends, we've lost friends, and then we've seen this all happening outside of our sphere, but within our 4 walls. It's the thing I think we're both most proud of.
So back in this time, the West End was nothing, right? I've heard there was basically like Port City Coffee, and that was the West End.
Port City Coffee, Bob's Broiled Chicken, Street at that point under different ownership, but Street was definitely... White Heron was a very similar opening to us, maybe a few months or a year beforehand. But coming to Portsmouth as a post-college graduate and having ambitions and dreams of opening a restaurant, I thought it was foolishness to ever consider any brick and mortar outside of downtown.
Right.
And that logic was totally ass backwards because the West End, and credit to the city planning and many, many years of hard work by hardworking individuals, but the West End to me has come to reflect the spirit of Portsmouth that I fell in love with when I first moved here.
Yeah, I'm on this this committee, this new initiative that the Portsmouth Chamber has called Locals Belong Here, which has been started basically to try to figure out how do we get locals back to downtown Portsmouth, because apparently downtown Portsmouth has changed so much it doesn't feel like it's for Portsmouth people anymore, and those people are now kind of hanging out in the West End because that feels like authentic, real Portsmouth.
Yeah, I would say allow people to live in downtown Portsmouth at an affordable price, and if you want locals to embrace the 360 degrees of their community, you got to let them live in that community. And that's, I don't know if I could call that a passion project of mine, but it is to me, the most pressing issue facing our town. It's certainly one of the more pressing issues in our country, which there are many, 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 many others.
Dagan also sits on the housing board for Portsmouth, right?
I'm on the housing committee, yes.
Housing committee, yes.
And so we've been together for 2 years trying to untangle the knot of how do we make a town that is understandably incredibly popular. It has a lot of wealth. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is losing its diversity. It's losing its diversity of demographics. It's losing its diversity of thought. It's losing its artists. It's losing its workers. And that is a ticking time bomb. And one of the lines that I've repeated over and over again is that affordability will come to Portsmouth. It's just what's left when it does. We've seen these boom and bust cycles happen. History has laid out what goes down when you push everybody out, and inevitably the spirit goes with it, but eventually it stops becoming a desirable place for anybody to live, in part because the businesses lose their workers, the things that make it vibrant. are no longer fostered or kindled. $70 million comes into this city from the arts community, and the artists, yes, 70. That is a studied fact, and all the artists I know are getting pushed out. And if they want to make a buck, they got to pack up their mule and ride into town and sell it to the folks who have the money to buy it, and then pack up their mule and get on out of here. And I know I am not the only person, because I sit on a committee with many who feel the same way, and we live in a community that has been saying over and over and over again that something needs to change. And fortunately, things are changing, but virtuous things take time. It's a lot easier for bad actors to make things happen quickly, but where I draw optimism, enthusiasm is that time and time again, when this town could have gone one direction, there are people who join together and try to force it back in the other way. And right now, we're all pushing as hard as we can.
Clap it up for Dagan, everybody, please. Now, if there's one thing that I have learned from interviewing all these small business owners over the last 18 months, 88 episodes, I think, and now being a small business owner myself, you are so strapped for time. You have to be very deliberate with what you pay attention to and devote your precious resources to. So you have a lot that you could be devoting your time to. Flyers Bench, takes up 95% of your time, I'm sure. So why is this specific issue, housing in Portsmouth, something that is so important to you?
For many reasons. How much time you got, buddy? I know we're on a little bit of a
Not
crunch.
that much. And Jen talked longer than I thought. No, just kidding.
I take great issue with the notion that people who are so integral in building a culture and a community are not allowed to live in it. And I think we also have a misguided notion that your community impact is a 1-to-1 ratio to how much money you have in your bank account. When I know many, many individuals who have chosen very noble pursuits at the sacrifice of making as much money as humanly possible. Now, there's nothing wrong with making a lot of money. That's in a healthy ecosystem or a healthy community, you've got everybody. And it just seems that the momentum, the inertia is always behind, well, who can outbid the other? And that's not seeing the forest for the trees. And that's not defending the people who have spent so much of their hard-earned time. You say business owners do not have a lot of time. Well, a lot of people, even if they don't own a business, do not have a lot of time. They are trying to make ends meet. They're trying to provide for themselves, for their family. And if they have chosen to be a teacher or a firefighter or to devote themselves to poetry while they're also bartending down at the press room, I think they deserve a spot on the bench. And yeah, seriously. And the free market's not going to take care of that. So we have to take care of each other.
Hell yeah, Dagan. Hell yeah. So how does it get better?
Well, in some ways it is. I mean, we have 410 units of permanently or I won't get too into the minutia. We have 410 units of affordable housing in the pipeline. There are government subsidies that help out, but really it's a matter of how do you work with the developers to incentivize them to create units that are going to be listed at below market rent or affordable, which the definition of affordability from a housing perspective is 30% of your income spent on housing. There are developers who are very willing to participate, but they have a responsibility to their business and they cannot willingly take less money if more money is out there. That's completely understandable. But there are a few tools within the city. Most recently, I'll give you an example. So the McIntyre building, that was a fiasco. It's almost like saying Voldemort. I'm surprised no one hissed at me when I mentioned that name. But there was a settlement recently with the Kane Group who was supposed to develop the McIntyre and then had their contract stripped from them. And that settlement allowed for an area in Portsmouth that was previously zoned for office and research only. You could not build housing in this area. Now, Kane is going to be able to develop housing there, but in order to do so, they have either to build the affordable housing themselves, they have to invest money into a housing trust fund, which the city just set up, that can then be used for whatever method or methodology you want to employ to try to create more affordable housing, or they can donate land. And they've donated an acre of land that the city will then lease out to a housing authority, somebody like the PHA, who's the largest landlord in the city of Portsmouth and does phenomenal work from an affordability perspective. And that's going to provide 80 units of permanently affordable housing based on using what was, it's a lemons and lemonade thing. The city was getting sued. The city is no longer getting sued. And as part of that settlement, we figured out a way to add 80 units to the housing stock. In the state of New Hampshire, you cannot mandate that a developer has a percentage of their building devoted to affordable housing. We are what's called a Dillon's Law state. If you go to Massachusetts, anybody who builds a 300-unit building in Cambridge is going to probably be required by the city to make 10, 15, 20 units at a scale, adjusted from 20% of the median income of that area up to 80%. That was something that I did not know when I got involved with the housing committee, and that a lot of people do not know, which is that the city is in some ways toothless. And so they have to figure out a way to grow teeth, which ain't easy.
Well, this is a rabbit hole we could go down all day. I do want to ask you a couple more.
A rabbit hole in Portsmouth would probably be like $2,500 a month.
You told me before this night you're optimistic about Portsmouth's future, but we are at a critical point, and I'm very grateful that we have find folks like you who care so much and are so passionate and knowledgeable about this stuff to be fighting the front lines of this battle. Real quick on Liar's Bench, you said you love the table and what it represents, and when we talk about our breweries, you guys, Loaded Question, Treeline Outfitters is doing great stuff in the West End as well. Laney and Lou, these are our community hubs. This is where people gather, and this is really the heartbeat of our community. This is something I am so passionate about, getting together in real life, face-to-face, breaking the walls down, talking about real shit. And this is the exact kind of stuff that happens at Liar's Bench. So I just want to say, A, just kudos to you for creating those kinds of spaces. And B, my question is, why is this something that is so important to you, having a space that provides that?
The happiest moments of my life are when I'm sitting with people I either care about or I'm curious about. And it's a very simple thing, but a very essential thing. We're all animals, but we were pack animals at one point. And so bringing people together where they have to look one another in the eyes, it triggers our empathy. And what we've been learning about phones is that they don't do a great job of that. Even though there's a lot of good things to be done with a cell phone, it's a very good tool, as you well know. But to me, it's such an essential component of life to be around one another. And for all of the ways which people will disparage the product that I make for its lack of health benefits, one thing we know is true, that the people who are the most happy in their life, that the people who live the longest, do so because they have a sense of place and a sense of people. And so I feel very honored to participate in carrying the torch for an industry that has been around since the beginning of time, pretty much. I mean, the oldest profession, shout out to the sex workers, but the oldest business is a bar. And there's a reason for that. Because there's perhaps nothing more reciprocal. There's nothing that offers yourself up to somebody and allows them to commune with you than asking them, hey, do you want to grab a beer? So to be able to provide a space that does that is part of a tradition, and it's something that I get great satisfaction from.
I love that answer, and I co-sign on everything you just said. I've got one final question for you. In the podcast episode that dropped this week, I reflected this question back to Jen, and I asked her quite simply, we have all these amazing people, very talented people who could be making a fine living for themselves, could be testing themselves in perhaps bigger markets. So maybe you out in Portland, Oregon, or in Seattle, where the craft brew scene is also very, very popular. What keeps you here? What keeps you here on the Seacoast doing your thing, serving beer at Liar's Bench, when you're so good at it, you know so much about it, you could be doing it elsewhere?
Yeah, myself and my business partner have always taken the approach of, we don't want height, we want length. And we want to be around for as long as we possibly can be, because this is what we're passionate about doing, and we're very, very fortunate to get to wake up every day and do that. And maybe we could chase higher revenue by opening another location. Maybe we could move to a larger city and know that our doors are going to be opening and closing on a much more frequent basis than they do in the middle of January in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. But one of the things that inspired me and endeared me to this town when I first found it was the roots. I think that's pretty easily recognizable in the architecture, but the history of this place and the individuals who have stewarded it from one generation to the next is apparent in every brick on the sidewalk. And so to get to participate in that lineage feels so worthwhile that there is no dollar figure you could put on it.
Dagan Migirditch, everybody. Clap it up for him. One more time. Man, I'm fired up. You can catch Dagan, Liar's Bench Beer Co., Islington Street, the West End, the best end of Portsmouth. So excited that we just got to talk to Dagan making his Seacoast Stories debut. Before we bring on our musical performance of the night, you guys can start coming up and getting Laura's instruments ready. I do want to tell you about tonight's presenting sponsor, Three Bridges Yoga. Now, usually when I do an ad read, I do this scripted. However, I work there, so I should just be able to speak off the cuff, so allow me to do that. Three Bridges Yoga is the premier vinyasa yoga studio, not only in Portsmouth, but across the entire Seacoast. I may be a little biased, but I believe that to be true. Damn right. I think that's Dan Carricker, my fellow yoga teacher. Or DJ. Okay, shout out to DJ. We offer all kinds of yoga classes, so really this works for any age, any athletic ability. If you like chill, restorative, my girl Erin leads some amazing classes. Katie B, if you want to get your ass kicked on a Saturday morning, she will lead you through some classes. I am going to be teaching there regularly starting in middle February, and I would love to kick your ass as well. So we have some amazing offers at Three Bridges Yoga in downtown Portsmouth. Take some pictures of this. I'll put this in the show notes as well. Stephanie, who is like so near and dear to my heart, she's the owner of Three Bridges. You hear me yap about her all the time. Clap it up for Stephanie. She is the reason why I stayed in Portsmouth after wanting to leave 2 years ago. I was here for a couple months, wasn't loving my time. She was the one who kind of convinced me to stay and give this one more shot. So I credit her for why all of this is happening, and she has some amazing offers. So if you've never been to the studio, you're a first timer, you use this code SSNewbie. $39 for 30 days, which is like a great deal for you if you've never been to the studio. If you have been to the studio, use the code SS5450 for a 5-class pack for $50. $10 a class. It can't beat it. Again, Three Bridges Yoga, downtown Portsmouth, the best damn yoga studio in the area. Clap it up for them. Now, it is my great honor to tell you about someone, again, very near and dear to my heart, just the kind of person that when you meet her, you're like, I have to know more about you. I have to go to Laney and Lou and grab coffee with you for 2 hours to grill you about your life story. I apologize to anyone who's had to be subjected to that with me, but I can't help myself when I meet a person like this one we're about to bring on stage. Again, she is a marketing strategist. She has designed these websites for, again, the functional nutritionist Erin Holt, for Vernon Family Farm. She has also done some strategy work for Seacoast lately, and the Press Room as well. And she, as a musician, fronts a 5-piece band called Foxglove. They're going to be recording an album in a couple months. She's performed at all kinds of Seacoast stages. She is from Maine, and she is a dear friend of mine. Returning to the Seacoast Story stage, everyone, please give a warm welcome to Laura Fox.
Wow, hello. Can you hear me? Okay, just give me like 4 more seconds. I have to move some things around. Okay, I would love to find out, not that I can see you that well, but by a show of hands, how many of you have ever been in love? How many of you have ever had your heart broken? Okay, this next one is for you. Let's see. I write songs about love, the lack thereof, and the in-between. This next song, or this first song, geez, I've been up here for so long already, is a song that I wrote actually a really long time ago, I think 14 years ago now. And I recently kind of brought it back into my repertoire when I'm playing out solo. And what's interesting, I've come to find with songs that I've written long ago, is that they kind of take on new shape and new meaning. And so breakups have happened to me before, and they've perhaps will happen again. And the one beautiful benefit is that I almost always get a song out of it. Thank you. Maybe every word you say is a lie. Maybe every kiss you gave began goodbye. Now I see there's an ocean in your eyes. And if I don't catch myself, I could wash away in the tide. I could wash away in the tide. If you fell, I would catch you, baby, but I know, you won't catch me. I'll write a song about you, and you'll write a song about her. And I'll pretend it doesn't hurt. The bluest blue was the deepest black. Now that I'm in so deep, how do I turn back, baby? The bluest blue was the deepest black. Now my memories of you are incomplete. I can't tell what's false or what's honesty. 'Cause even in my dreams you're near me. Even in my dreams I can't get free. The bluest blue was the deepest black. Now that I'm in so deep, how do I turn back, baby? The bluest blue was the deepest black. I don't hate you. I don't hate you, but I would like to. I would like to. You tainted my summer. You're draining my fall. Now winter's approaching. I can't let you take them all. I can't let you take them all. The bluest blue was the deepest black. Now that I'm in so deep, how do I turn back? Baby, the bluest blue was the deepest black. Baby, the bluest blue was the deepest black. Maybe every word you say is a lie. Thank you. Thank you so much. Wow, okay, here we are. I'm gonna play 2 more songs for you. This next one is, it's called Hold the Line, and I play this out often with my band Foxglove. And we will be at the Press Room on January 3rd. Thank you so much. I would love to see you all there. And what's interesting also about this song is I started writing it, and it was kind of a story or a request, if you will, for the person I was dating at the time, asking him to sort of let his walls down. And I kept writing it and writing new verses, and it turned into a conversation actually more with myself, in that that I should kind of hold the line for what I deserve. So it's called Hold the Line. Is it a lost cause or a sure thing? Is it a heartache or a diamond ring? Maybe a daydream could be the real thing. With a bluebird sky and endless time, yeah, it's a crapshoot. I'm trying to tell you, I'll hold the line. I got a tight grip, you got a loose fist. You're slow and steady, I just wanna sprint. Staying, stalling, holding, falling down to the baseline. Could you be all mine? I'll hold the line. You can just imagine a guitar player on top of this. It's a lot more interesting to listen to. Is it a hard pill or a cheap thrill? Something forever or just one night to kill? Yeah, you could lie to me and say you want to see me in the morning or every day this week, but I could see through this little preview. I'll hold the line. Oh, at daybreak or at midnight, no telling where or when. Just give me good light every time. 'Cause I believe you are wanting me to. I'll hold the line. Yeah, I believe you are wanting me to. I'll hold the line. 'Cause when the day comes, yeah, the sun's up, I hear the birds sing to the love they got. Joyful dawn breaks, awake to find the one beside that we long for. Heart's an open door, I'll hold the line. Oh, the night comes, the moon is high. I walk and I wish to the sky that you'd feel it. I can feel it. Awake to find the one beside that we long for. Heart's an open door, I'll hold the line. The one that we long for. Heart's an open door, I'll hold the line. The one that we long for. Heart's an open door, I'll hold the line. Thank you. Whew. Okay, we're toward the end now. Thank you for listening so intently. It's such a wild feeling that never ceases to really hit my heart when people are really actually fully paying attention to the words that I've written and the voice that I'm sharing. It's a gift to me, so thank you. I have one more question for you, which is, how many of you listened to my interview with Troy in May? Or back in May. All right, a handful. Thank you for listening. Well, so it'll be news to you, all who didn't raise your hand, that, well, maybe not. Troy already mentioned this. I'm interested in the topic of death. And I'm interested in it because it's inevitable for all of us. And I think that we should talk about it more and that we should be less afraid of it. And that's a very hard thing for most people, understandably. Most of the songs I have written are about romantic love. This is a song about the cycle of life and death, which I think is also ultimately about love. Starting seeds, growing trees, we're just waiting on the rain to come. Don't you see? Oh, the bees, they'll come by at the break of dawn. Take it slow, yeah, I know you know. We grow more as the wind blows, and I can tell, oh, it's going well. Can't you see? The cycle repeats. It's easy to let go and be free. I'll sing it loud so you hear me now. Tell the story of love. We're all just chasing the sun. Can't you see? It's all been done. We're all just chasing the sun. Somewhere between, okay, somewhere between space and time, darling, I am yours and you are mine. Oh, we're here and we're we're there all at once, all the time. Yeah, it's easy to let go and be free. I'll sing it loud so you hear me now, and tell the story of a love. We're all just chasing the sun. Can't you see it's all been done? We're all just chasing the sun. Thank you. Thank you so much. I just wrote that song, and clearly I don't know it that well. Thank you.
Laura Fox, everybody. Laura, I don't know if you said this, but you've got some Foxglove merch at the back table. There's also some Seacoast Stories merch back there as well. If anyone wants to grab some on your way out, just go see Maura back there. Some great Seacoast Stories beanies to keep us very warm during this chilly season. Laura, I'm sorry, what was that? Okay, yeah, go see Kate. She loves selling things to people.
Thank you, Kate.
Couple questions before I kick you off stage, Laura.
Okay.
You're going on an impromptu trip soon. Can you explain to the people where you're going and why?
Ooh. I'm going to Mexico. Why? I feel like I bought a one-way ticket to Mexico. Is kind of the point that you're making. I'm not just like going to Mexico for a week, and we need to talk about that. I've a few times in my life had this experience where I've kind of felt a deep transition, a need for physical space to be like incredibly different. One time it was going to Europe, buying one-way ticket to Europe for a couple of months, maybe 14 years ago. And another time, maybe 8 years ago, it was like packing my car up and driving south for a few months. And I'm in the same place, and it's a 1 year next year. So I just feel like, you know what I mean, Erin? All the like astrology, numerology people are really getting what I'm saying.
Yep.
New beginnings, like innovation. I'm like really ready for a change, and I feel like my Sagittarius self is like, get after an adventure. Yeah. Thank you.
Why do you feel like you need a change?
There are so many directions I can go with this answer. Why do I feel like I need a change? It's like my whole being, I feel like I'm on a diving board, and I've been like tiptoeing toward the edge for the last 6 months or so, maybe a year. And I'm like now finally sort of like peeking over the edge, and I'm letting a toe sort of fall over, and I'm about to do this thing. And it's like there's no one thing in my life that's caused me to do this. It's I just like it's a knowing, and it's not anything specific to Mexico. It's more of a like a readiness in me, an innate readiness in me for something different.
Are you scared at all of doing this solo trip? No plans, don't know when you're going to return. I'm sure people in your life probably think you're crazy.
You know what's funny about that is everybody I've brought this up to, people that I know or people that I don't know well, and I've mentioned it, their eyes light up. Like there's something in them that like recognizes this desire that probably a lot of us actually have to just kind of make a huge change. But so many people lean into the fear part of making change. And thankfully, I think most of my experience of life, like since I was, I don't know, since the first time I sang in public, I think is like actually what changed it. So in my teenage years, I used to be very shy when I was young. But I think it's like, that's what courage is, right? Like that's what Jen was talking about. You can't have courage without fear. I'm afraid, sure. It doesn't change what I'm gonna do. I felt like a little nervous to walk up here earlier to sing. Like the first song, my voice, I could feel a shakiness in me that I don't always have. Like, does it matter? No, I still did it. I'm so glad I did it. And in my experience, I have regretted more things that I don't do than the things that I do. So, thank you.
Who here wishes they could make just a one-way trip to somewhere around the world right now because they need a big change? Yeah. There's no reason you can't, right? What's stopping you? It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Some people have
Pretty easy for us single people to say.
Yeah.
Single, no kids, pretty easy to say, I know.
Exactly. I'm in a specific moment in life that it allows me to do this. Also, the fact that I have a job, built a career that I can work from anywhere. The last 2 times I did this these trips that I went on, I didn't have a job. I just like came home when my money ran out, and I feel like I have a responsibility to my adventurous side to try and just like see what happens. I'll be back because my band, Foxglove, is making a record in June, up in Parsonfield, Maine. Thank you. And it's actually the same studio. It's called Great North Sound Society, and Lake Street Dive made one of their records there, which means great energy, right? So I'll be back probably in May at the latest. But I'm saying like, I'll be gone for a month to 4 months. Who knows?
Okay. What's on the agenda? You don't speak the language.
I don't. I took French in high school and college. Okay. I did start Babbel though. Also, Nicole Vernon's going to teach me some Spanish.
Oh, yes. Former Spanish teacher at Exeter High School, I think. Yeah.
What was the question?
What are you going to do in Mexico?
Like wander and eat the food. I'm so excited to eat tacos and I don't know, meet people. I want to just explore. You were saying something about like going to supper club here, and I haven't done it. And it's like, I know so many people in this town. Not that I don't want to meet new people, but I would love to go to that in Mexico.
Okay, Seacoast Stories Dinner Club Mexico edition coming soon.
Let's hear it.
Laura Fox, everybody. Thank you to Laura.
Thank you.
Get a hug from Laura at some point. You won't regret it. While she does that, I do want to remind you all that after we wrap up the show, we are heading over to the Coop, which is a new dive bar. It's tucked inside Earth Eagle Brewing. It's next to Three Bridges Yoga. If you haven't been, we've got a special Seacoast menu happening. There's like peppermint espresso martinis. There's all sorts of concoctions that they told me about. So we're going to be there immediately after, and we will party the night away. We have full permission to do that. And I just want to take a quick moment as we're talking about, big life decisions and changes and stuff. You can change the next slide. There's just a couple of photos. So this has been just some photos of the past year. Me and Jen talking, me and Caitlin from Red's Good Vibes, which what an incredible episode. Oh my God, that woman is she's something. It's just been a crazy year. There's me and Jim Jalbert, C&J Bus Lines, shout out. It's been an incredible year for, shout out to C&J Bus Lines. And I just want to tell a quick story. So I'm in Scarborough, Maine yesterday. If you must know why, I was there for an endocrinology appointment. And I usually do very diligent research for every single podcast interview I do. And if someone has a product or an experience that they offer, I have to partake in said product or experience before. Well, I did not do that for the episode I did with the CEO of The Holy Donuts. So I hadn't had one of those donuts when I interviewed the CEO, Jeff. But I was in the town yesterday, and I said, okay, I'm going to go to the Holy Donut. So I go to the Holy Donut, and I get a sweet potato coffee cake donut, which was something, so much sugar. It was okay. But anyways, I'm just sitting there eating my donut, and there's all these articles, newspaper clippings about the Holy Donut and how, it's gotten all this acclaim through the years and very, reputable publications. And then there's one story in there from like 2014 or something, so very early days of the Holy Donut. It's about Lee Kellis. She's the founder of the Holy Donut. And I skimmed the article, and the last line stuck out to me. And the last line simply was, thank you, DJ. It's called suspense. Having an idea and watching it become something is beyond a dream. And I think there's so many people in this room tonight, Dagan, Laura, Erin, who we're going to talk to, Jen. There's so many builders here in Portsmouth. And that's why I love the Seacoast so much. That's why I love New Hampshire so much and what we're doing here. This place is truly so different than all the other places I have lived. And everyone I talk to has also lived to other places, co-signs and says, this place is different. If you have an idea for something, if you have a dream for something, you can just go build it tomorrow here. Not necessarily like that every other place. You might get way more pushback. But here, you tell someone about the thing that you want to do, and they're like, hell yeah, how can I help? And actually, I have 10 friends who also would co-sign on this and would want to help you out as well. So I say all this to say that for me, building Seacoast Stories was something that I wrote about in my journal in March, April of 2024. And I was like, I want to make this happen. And now look, we've made it happen. You guys are all here tonight. I was going through my Spotify Wrapped stats. We were the #1 show for 319 people. 4+ million views on Instagram this year, which is crazy. We had 32 sponsors, lots of local businesses buying in. 88 episodes, 54 episodes this year. And I'm not like flexing about how much I can do. I'm more so saying that you guys have allowed me to be an outsider and to come parachute in here and just do exactly what I wanted to do. I have faced no friction, so much support, so many supportive messages. We've sent hundreds of people to dinner clubs. We've sold hundreds of tickets to events like this. And I get stopped left and right when I go out to, whatever networking events and by people who just say like, oh, I love the show, or, oh, I have no idea who you are, but your name came up in this women's business league thing or this knitting club I'm in, like your name came up. So all that's to say, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being so supportive and for allowing me to do what I do. I've really opened up the last few weeks of the show, talked to Ellie Shaheen about my battle with type 1 diabetes. I talked to Jen about perhaps some of my insecurities and sometimes how I like to hide behind the microphone and I use it as a way to like, oh, I'm just asking other people questions. What a guy. He's so nice. He shows all this curiosity in other people, but really sometimes it's just like, well, I don't want to talk about me. No one wants to hear what I have to say. And so then I say that in this week's episode with Jen, and my DMs just get lit up with people saying, we care about what you have to say. We want to hear more from you. Yeah, clap it up for that. We have these amazing Seacoast people here. So again, I just want to say thank you for all the support. We're only getting started. I've got big dreams for 2026, more episodes, more video stuff, more events, all of that soon to come. But I now want to bring out our main event, our main attraction of the evening. Again, someone I'm so excited to talk to. She is the creator of the Functional Nutrition Academy, where she trains practitioners to, I don't even know, she'll tell you more. She does so many things. Oh my God, Erin. She's the creator of the Functional Nutrition podcast. She's been in podcasting longer than I have. Started in 2017, 388 episodes she has released. She is a beast on the microphone. You will find that out soon. And she is the functional nutritionist herself with 121,000 followers on Instagram. She is the one and only Erin Holt. Erin told me on our episode that we did in July that 90s rap is her jam, and she pretty much speaks exclusively in 90s rap references.
I mean, a little ODB never hurt nobody.
Little what?
This guy. Oh, dirty bastard?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's go with that.
Woo, dang, woo, dang. All right, we'll move on.
I love you already. You're such a multifaceted woman, Erin. But your story, functional nutritionist. You started this business mid-2010s. Now it's grown to this huge thing, multi-million dollars in revenue every year.
Whoa. Let's
Whoa.
be honest. Multi-million is a bit of a stretch. I'm like bumping up against the $2 million mark. We can talk about
That's
that.
multi.
2026 is the projected year that we're going to break through into multi.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's
keep
We're
it-
manifesting it.
Let's keep it honest here.
Okay. So she's doing big things. Now your business is online now, so you're touching people far beyond the Seacoast. But where you really cut your teeth with the functional nutritionist was really in this community, right? Going to yoga studios and things. So take me back into the early days functional nutritionist when it's really rooted here.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I'm so glad we're starting here because it's like pretty fun and exciting and glamorous to talk about what we've created. And we can totally get into that and we can talk about like how I did it. And especially over the past year and a half, because like, what the fuck was that in business? But it started from the ground floor, like literally on the yoga studio floor is where I started seeing my first clients. And that was at Three Bridges Yoga. That was at Prasada, a few other yoga studios locally. And so it's like this whole arc took place over the past 15-ish years here on the Seacoast. And I think that that's like such an important thing to talk about is like where it all got started. Because even I was talking to my husband today about coming here. He's like, just make sure you tell everybody how long it took. You know, like it took a long ass time to get here. And I never could have like projected or predicted that we would be here either. But yeah, it started in the local community. I graduated from dietetic school. I worked at the health food store, the Portsmouth Health Food Store. That was like my first job out of college.
Which, by the way, sorry to stop you. So Seacoast Stories just got on TikTok, finally. I'm like 5 years late to the game. And I reposted a clip of you talking about the Portsmouth Health Food Store.
And its dysfunction.
Yes. And I posted it on TikTok. The comments that this place got, so much love for this place. I don't know if you guys remember this place. I know nothing about it, but lots of love for the Portsmouth Health Food Store.
Oh my God, it was the best place. So I started working there. So I just kind of like got to know the community and people in the community. I started teaching yoga and got to know people that way. And so I really built the like know, like, and trust factor. I didn't just like break out on the scene as like an Instagram star. I really, really got to know people IRL. And that's where everything started. And then it just kind of snowballed from there.
So what exactly were you doing here early days? Like you were at the yoga studio doing what?
God only knows. Teaching yoga, probably. I was teaching yoga and I started to integrate or bring in some of my nutrition work into the yoga studios that I was teaching at. So kind of started to get known for more of that versus just teaching yoga. And and then I started a blog. Like, remember blogs? I started a blog back in the day and posted recipes, like real basic stuff. So I started to gain a online following and an online presence. I started building a newsletter. I eventually got on the mic. Give me the mic so I could take it away. That's why I chose that song, by the way. So then my following that was originally local started to grow beyond that. But I was talking about nutrition. I was working with clients, helping them improve their nutrition and their health.
Okay. And you told us on our podcast over the summer that this subject was so important to you because you had your years-long battles with body image, with disordered eating as well, right? So this was why you wanted to do this.
Yeah, so I got into school for dietetics because I battled eating disorders, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna go to school and fix myself. Like that was kind of like the premise of like I can just learn some more stuff and like fix all of this. It didn't work that way. So I got into more alternative health after that. I studied to become a holistic health coach, and that's really like where I was teaching yoga. I was doing holistic health coaching, and like got married, had a baby, like we're like checking all the boxes, bought a house. And then I got really, really, really sick after having my daughter 11 years ago. And nobody could tell me what was wrong. It's like by this point, everyone knows this story, not because it's not my story, but it's like probably half of yours in the audience, like going to the doctor, like dragging limbs into the office, being like, something's wrong. They're like, your blood work's totally normal. I don't know. So that went on for a while. And long story less long, I was diagnosed with a very serious autoimmune condition called scleroderma. So like, don't Google that one. It's scary. It's bad. The doctor's like, yeah, this one's gonna, potentially kill you, and put me on medication. And like, that was that. Like, it's a wrap. And I'm like, well, I'm 30. There's got to be other solutions. So that's when I found functional medicine, and that's sort of what pirouetted my career in a different direction, was the functional medicine piece. And that's what I essentially used to like heal and recover from autoimmunity.
To fast forward a little bit, so you start this business, start the podcast. I remember you telling me in our episode that when you saw at the end of the year that you had made $80,000 with this business, that you thought, oh my God, I've made it. Because that was like your father had made $80,000 and back in the 90s, that was a lot of money. And that you had thought that you had made it, and that you're like, all right, I'm good. I don't need to ever do any more than that. Like, this is good.
I just was surprised. So it's like, how deep do I want to go here?
No one's here. It's fine.
At this point, I was like a stay-at-home mom, and my husband was like the primary earner, and I kept telling that story. Like that was the narrative. I'm like, well, my husband's the primary breadwinner, so I just like do this little business on the side while I take care of our daughter. And when I realized that I had made $80K in a year, and I voiced that to a friend, she's like, so like, is your husband still like the primary earner, or like, what's up? Like, that's a big, massive contribution to a household. And so that just let me see myself in a different way. Like, I'm like, oh, this thing has like legs. Like, I'm doing something here. We're building something. And so I think I just took myself a little bit more seriously. And that's when I double down on the business side of things. Like, I saw myself as a business owner for the first time, and just really started to treat this like a business versus like a hobby or a side project.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people in the room tonight who perhaps were in a similar position way back when, who were thinking about like, okay, how big do I want to take this? So I guess I would just ask you, for anyone who finds themselves in that position, early days building something, what advice would you give them to really get them to take the next step? Because as you said, this was a long road for you.
All the way up. I would just fucking go for it. No one here gets out alive. Well, Jimmy Morrison for you. Hopefully we get out of here tonight alive, but Earth, this life. So just like go for it. But I will say, I think this is really, really important, because everyone's like talking about like anti-hustle culture and like their soft girl era. I fucking work so hard. I also swear a lot. I'm like, apologies in advance. I cannot. I work really, really hard. It takes a lot to do this. And I think about, I heard Greg Renfrew, she's the founder of Beauty Counter. She said, overnight success is 24/7 for a decade. So like by the time we see somebody being successful, they've been grinding behind the scenes for a solid 10 years. And I think that that's pretty true. I think about it like popcorn. When you're making popcorn on the stove, we don't have a microwave, so we make it on the stove, and like nothing's happening. It just looks like nothing is happening, and then all of a sudden it's like pop, and it's like pop, pop, and it's like pop, 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 pop. You have to be able to withstand so much heat and so much pressure before you actually see like the fruits of your labor. And so this is why I think it's so important that you are in love with what you are doing and what you are building, because you need to have, not to sound super cheesy, you need to have a why. You need to have a motivating driver that keeps you going when things get hard, because things will get hard. And if anyone tells you otherwise, they're lying to you. They are lying to you. It gets hard. So you need to like really, really want it. You need to like love it so much.
That's a really great metaphor. And I actually feel like I am in a current moment of like pop. Because
Yeah,
for
you
years,
are.
podcast. Thank you. Oh my God, thank you. Podcasts, blogs, and all sorts of things. And it's like, is this thing on? Like 3 people came to my book signing way back when.
You have a book?
Yeah, I do. There's one back there.
I wasn't there.
Yeah, one book for
there.
sale. I'll even sign it if you want. So just like it was stagnant for so long, and then just all at once. Like now I'm so overwhelmed. And so I'm wondering with you, like when everything just starts happening so fast, how do you keep up? How do you not drown in that? How do you not get so overwhelmed? How do you hire help? All those things.
I did drown and I did get overwhelmed, and I probably hired help. I like hired a team. I started building a team way too late, I would say. Jenna is my OG operations manager.
Shout out Jenna Chestnut. She's here. Wow.
You can attest to that, right? Like, you're a mess. We need to organize you. What is going on? So I just didn't know what I didn't know. And I just thought I had to do everything myself. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs are probably like this. You know, I'm also an eldest daughter, so I like have that going for me, which is nice. But like I just have this belief that I have to do everything myself. My value is in how much I do and how well I perform. And I just it's nobody else's responsibility but mine. And so you kind of have to like work through a lot of that. You have to work through a lot of that, because there really is no growth and no scaling without a team. Like, it is my team that I have Sydney in the front row right now. Like, it is my team that really helps to amplify all of this. And so when you hit a period of overwhelm, when the pop is happening, I think that it really is like time to enlist help.
But how do you resist the urge to be so hands-on with everything and just like to trust other people?
I don't do that great. I like try my best. I mean, just last week I was like, all right, I'm going to stop micromanaging you now. It's super duper challenging, but I think that this is where like what got you here isn't going to get you there. You know, so you have to do things differently. So like what got me, part of the reason that I keep bumping up against that 2 million is because I haven't delegated. I haven't let go of control, and it's limiting my own growth and my own ability to scale. What is really scary for me is that it's taken me 15 years to build trust with my audience. Like, people trust me, and that is not something I take for granted. And so that is so scary to think that I could potentially lose that by letting go of control of certain things. But I also hire people that I really trust. Like, people on my team and that have been on my team in the past are all like top-notch people that I trust so well. So I think it's just me having to like work through some of my own inner stuff.
Yeah. You told me that the business hadn't been as good perhaps in the past year, in years past, because of limiting beliefs that other people had placed upon you. What exactly were these beliefs, and why did you let them sink their teeth into you?
Well, I'm really, it's like a kind of a gift and a curse, but I feel like I'm very porous to messages or to like other people's, not even other people, because it sounds like I'm like pointing the blame, but like messages that we hear, which can work in my favor when they're really empowering. Like, I read a book on like how to be a millionaire, and then I was like, oh, cool, I'll do that. You know, like, people are doing that, great. I can too, awesome. So it works in my favor. But if I hear a lot of like limiting ideas, I can also absorb those. And so what happened, to answer this question, I'm gonna go back to like mid 2024. And things started to feel really bad. Outside looking in, you guys would be like, you're killing it. Everything's great. And like inside, it didn't feel that way. I was working more than I ever had, longer hours. And I was so miserable because it was not growing the company. We weren't making a bigger impact. And I was doing stuff that I didn't want to do. I wasn't in creation mode, which is where I really like to be and where I should be. It's kind of my zone of genius. And so I had this like breakdown moment. I pulled over on the side of the car, on the side of the road, because I was crying so hard. And I realized that I'd created this business where financially, I could take a year off and pay myself and pay my entire team, and like everything would be totally fine. Logistically, I couldn't even take 3 days outside of my business without shit hitting the fan. And I felt so trapped. And I'm like, this can't be it. Like, this can't be the life that I'm creating for myself. So I realized I needed help. And luckily, I had a business advisor. She owns a business advisory firm. And I had connected with her in like a room like this. And I reached out and I'm like, I need help. And she really did her full due diligence in the whole company. And she broke things down into 3 categories: marketing, so like our messaging, how we got out into the world, our offer suite, what we do, and then team. And she's like, first 2 are great, like your money. The team thing though, like you're trying to drive a car down the road with missing parts. And I'm like, oh, is that why it feels so hard? Like, okay, what do we do? And so she came in and just helped to rescope my whole org chart and put the right people in the right seats and make sure we were hiring people for the growth that we wanted versus where we were currently. That was kind of I don't want to say a mistake because I don't believe in mistakes, but that was an error that I was, I didn't know that. But instead of just being like, oh, I need help here, I completely lost confidence and faith in myself across the board. Rather than being like, of course I don't know how to do that. I've never done that before. Of course I need support there. I'm like, I don't know how to run a business. All of a sudden. It's like, have you ever seen that reel with the little kid with the cup of coffee that he's bringing to his mom, and he like stumbles a little bit and it spills a little bit? You guys know what I'm talking about? And then he just like freaks out and bails and just throws the coffee. That's what I did. Rather than being like, oh, it's just like a little spill, I was like, fuck it. So I started outsourcing every single decision that I was making. Like, I didn't trust myself. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I have to like check in with everybody. I have to get everybody's opinion. And unintentionally, I started absorbing other people's limiting ideas and limiting beliefs. So about the market, about the economy, about what we should be doing, about where this industry was going. And it all started to feel really negative, but I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I have to trust everybody. Here we go. And it took one failed launch for me to like really open my eyes. And I use the term failed like very loosely because like, we did fine. But it wasn't the numbers that we expected. And hindsight being what it is, I realized that rather than lean into our differentiators, like what makes us unique, I followed the advice, and it's a functional medicine program that we were launching, by the way. And they were like, people don't want education. People don't want all of that. They just want the labs and they want the protocols. So sell the labs and the protocols. And I'm like, okay, I'm coachable. Here we go. And when I did that, what I did was basically bring myself to the level of my entire competition. And so we didn't have a successful launch. Rather than be like, yeah, fuck that. Sure, we do that, but we also do this that other people aren't doing. And so after that failed launch, I decided to double down on that. I'm like, I'm not listening to what you say. I know me, I know my business, and I know my audience, and this is what they want, and this is what they need. And as soon as we did that, the money, the numbers started creeping back upwards.
I love that because so much of what you talk about with your clients one-on-one is, you work with a lot of women who are navigating whatever health issues. And I know they oftentimes come to you and are like, my friend just did this drug, or my friend just made this diet change and she said I should too, so I did. Or I followed this influencer and she said I should do this workout. And so I did. And so I know what you're so big on is like, okay, but what feels good to you? Like, what do you want to do? And so it's funny that here you talk so much about listen to yourself, check in with yourself, intuition. You know what's right for you. So it's funny to me that wasn't happening for you.
Atypical. Like even like my best friend's in the audience. She's like, "What's up with you?" Like my husband's like, "What's going on? Like, how did you lose your confidence?" But I think sometimes that contrast is important because it kind of we're like, "Oh, this feels bad. Okay, I'm going to go back here." I think I needed that. I needed to see that to rebuild my trust in myself as we started to like really rebuild the company and really go for scale. I think I needed to like find myself again a little bit and regain that confidence that I had lost.
Yeah, I feel like such a big part of being a successful business owner is you have to remove the ego from the equation. Sometimes it's the ego that gets completely in the way. And
I mean, ego is self-protection. So if the ego starts ramping up, I just kind of be like, what is it? What do I feel that needs like protecting,
Yeah.
So, death of the ego and all of that. But, yeah, I think you can do it with a little bit of ego. The ego is just trying to keep you safe,
Right.
And every time, this is what I always try to remind myself, and I will remind all of you, the amygdala, which is just like the fear center in your brain, it oftentimes mislabels growth as a threat because it's different and it's new and it's uncharted territory, and your brain doesn't like that. Your brain likes safety.
Yeah.
It likes the old familiar. And so every time I start to feel that fear or feel that anxiety, I'm like, okay, self-protection kicking in because this feels scary. And then, do some practices to source safety in my body.
By the way, I failed to mention, we have a third mic in a couple minutes. We're going to pass the mic around in case anyone wants to ask Erin Holt the questions. We'll get the mic to you, so get thinking. Question for you. So obviously, as everyone can see, you're not afraid to be yourself. And I'm a huge fan of your content, by the way. Like, you're my favorite Seacoast content creator. Anytime you throw on the
God,
red
that's
light
so
mask
nice.
and are just talking about whatever, it's so hysterical. So many people would not do that. They would be like, I could never talk to people about whatever while I'm wearing a red light therapy mask. I look terrible. But you don't care. And that's what I love so much about you. How do you broadcast to so many people, podcasts, social media, show up fully as yourself, no fear, at least if there is, it doesn't show?
Yeah, there's so much fear all the time. Like, I was like trembling, like literally trembling even just before getting on this stage. So there's always fear. I mean, it's like courage is this theme. You like feel the fear and you do
The
it
Seacoast
anyway.
Stories live, bright lights are bright, I know.
Yeah. I just like what you see here is what you get everywhere. There's like one speed, like this is me at Thanksgiving dinner. This is me on the podcast. This is me like out in the streets. Like, I don't like that like authenticity I think that you're getting at is not something that I really like strive for or have to work at. I just kind of show up as I am, kind of take it or leave it. But the reason that I feel the fear and like continue to do it is because I think the message is worth sharing, and I think people need to hear it. And I have a big audience, but I also feel like there's more people that need the message.
Last question for me. What is on the horizon for the Functional Nutritionist in 2026?
Oh
to
my
1
God.
year, whatever that means, Laura Fox. I have no idea what that
It
means.
is a 1 year. Yeah.
Explain what that means.
And
What does this
is a
mean?
9 year. So it's like closing. This year is a 9 years. Like closing things down, and then a 1 year is like starting new. It's like all
Okay.
new. So we are closing some things down this year, which feels really, really good and expansive. Just because I was like ready to be done. I'm like, I feel complete. We're gonna close some things down, and then February 2026, we're launching a app and a new membership for our one-to-one practice is really focused on functional medicine and the physical body and root cause resolution. And this app is going to be bringing in more of the mindset and the emotional body and some energy healing and all that razzle dazzle,
love
little
that.
manifestation.
That's my favorite thing about you is that you combine the science and the woo-woo in ways that most people don't. So it's really cool.
Yeah. I don't love the word woo-woo, but we'll let it slide.
Okay, well, we can talk after. If anyone has any questions for Erin, think business, think wellness, think money, think anything that is on your mind, anything. We have a microphone. Any brave souls out there? We got a hand raised over here. Just say your name and what Seacoast town you live in, and then ask Erin your question.
So, my name is April, and I am in Bedford, New Hampshire. I am also a holistic nutritionist and health coach. And I guess my biggest question for you would be, what helped catapult your business? What would be the biggest thing that you could say that really helped drive the next step for you?
Consistency.
Yeah.
And I don't argue for my own limitations. You'll never hear me come up with a reason why I can't do something. You'll always hear me fight for why I can do it. And if I don't know, I will figure it out, or I'll get the people to do it. So just like keep showing up and keep showing up and keep showing up.
I love it. I love it. I'm so focused on the root cause myself as the functional approach myself. So I love to hear any insights. So love it.
It's super, super necessary. So
Yes.
keep going. We need
Love
more
it.
people out in those
Yes.
streets.
Yes, I love it. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. We've got a hand raised over here. Oh, Kate has just taken the mic, and she's now our MC, I guess. Classic
Hi.
Kate.
Classic Kate.
Just say your name, what Seacoast town you live in.
Oh, hey, girl.
Oh, hey. My name's Ankati.
Yes.
And I live in Dover now. My question, Erin, hearing you talk about, it's hard work and it's taken you years of hard work and devotion and dedication. And I know you're also a big advocate for making sure that you don't sacrifice yourself and your own health along the way. But how do you navigate that dance of putting in the energy, the time, the dedication, the devotion for what you love, but also managing your own well-being and physical health, mental health, emotional health, all of that?
That's a really good question. Body first, business second is my philosophy. I stole that from Kate Northrup, so that's not mine. But it's a good one. So I never I never compromise my health for the sake of the business growth. So that's always first. I've been to hell and back with my health, so I'm not willing to do that. We don't do that. But there have been sacrifices that I've made in other areas of my life. I have one child. That was a choice. I wanted to focus on my career. Not to say you can't do both, but I was this feels like a lot, so I'm just gonna wrap it up here. Sometimes I don't have the best work-life balance, but they don't feel like sacrifices to me because this is so important to me and I really want to keep doing this. But I also am a really high capacity person. I realize that. I'm a high impact person. I can do a lot. I can handle a lot. I don't really get burnt out easily because I really make sure I prioritize myself and make sure that I'm doing things in alignment with my highest self. Because when I'm not, that's when my body speaks to me. When I'm out of alignment with what my soul mission actually is, my body's nope, we're gonna put her sideways until she learns this lesson. So I think that's part of it too.
Thank you, Ankati. Ankati, also a teacher at Three Bridges Yoga. One of my favorite episodes of the year, by the way, was the interview with Ankati. Check that out if you haven't heard it. We'll take one more question. If anyone has a question, Kate will bring the mic over to you.
Hi.
Over here?
Oh, all the way over here. Kate, come on. Sprint over. Oh, you got one.
Sorry.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Kayla. I'm from Seabrook, New Hampshire. You mentioned briefly an eating disorder, and I know many of us here have suffered with those, and I'm just wondering how you got over that bridge, how you just kind of made it work.
It was a really, really, really long time. It took years, and it's almost like an addiction, So it's a tricky business, eating disorders. For me, I took a very unconventional approach, which is pretty typical for me in all areas of life. And what I needed to do was to take the emphasis and the focus off of food and off of my body and off of my appearance, and really go inside and figure out what hole I was trying to fill and what need I was trying to get met through the restrictive eating patterns. So it's a kind of a long one. It's kind of a long answer, but that is the meat and potatoes of it. It was really doing a little bit more inner work, but it was a long process.
Thank you. We do have one more. We got time for one more if you want to bring it over there, Kate.
Hello. Great.
Shout out to Kate
Hi.
Constantine
Good
from
job,
Gather,
Kate. How
which,
are
by the way,
you?
Kate's been doing
Hi,
amazing
there's your
work
mic.
with Gather this year. They've been
Shout out to Gather.
Shout out to Gather.
Donate your monies.
Hello, my name is Tolu. I'm living in Durham, New Hampshire. And my question is, I'm curious to know more about when you said in one of the earlier answers, consistency. And I want to know more about how do you make it a practice to get up every day and continue to work on the things that are important to you?
Gosh, I wish I had a better answer. it's like so innate to me because I'm like, this is medicine that the world needs. And I think probably partially my own lived experience of being a woman navigating healthcare and being completely dismissed, completely unheard. I'm like, this is unacceptable. So we have to create a different path. And so I just feel really, really passionate about that. I think it's I feel passionately. So I think it's my passion that just kind of keeps me driving and keeps it moving. I was like in a really bad state of affairs with my health. And I was able to completely turn that around and reverse it. And then we have seen that with hundreds of our clients. So I'm like, there's something to this. So we just have to like, keep it moving and keep pushing.
Any more questions? Anyone else with a dying question? Otherwise, we can go party. Anyone else?
Go
Kate,
drink some beer.
Do you have a question?
Hi.
Oh, okay, Kate has a question.
Hi, Kate Constantine. Here with a question. Aaron,
Are you waiting for your donation check? It's coming.
No, Erin. Hey, listen. Also, shout out to Erin, who's been supporting work around the Seacoast for fucking forever. I'm sorry, I swore. That's okay. I swear like a sailor.
It's okay.
Sailor,
Erin has 18
rumors.
times. It's fine.
Erin, just like in general, other than your work with functional nutritionist and all the other things you do, what are the other things that you are inspired by? Other creative passions that you have that people might not know that you do?
Work. I just work. It's so
You don't like tap dance or anything?
I don't tap dance. I love to move my body. I go to Steam House yoga and Pilates in Epping. I go to the gym. I lift weights. I listen to music, not just 90s hip hop, although I do love it. Time with my family. I have a 11-year-old, a 6th grader daughter. She's so fun. Yeah, the basics,
That's great. Cool.
You love to cook, don't you?
I do. I mean, I cook.
You still got the blog?
I don't have the blog. Well, I mean, we like kind of post stuff on the blog, but it's really the podcast. And I podcast. That's a hobby.
Go. We love podcasts around
We
here.
love podcasting.
Okay, great.
Aaron, there's one more question from the audience. Everyone in the audience is wondering what your sign is. What's your sign?
What do you think? Guess. I'm a Sag rising.
It's Sag season.
I'm gonna blow your fucking minds.
What?
I'm a Pisces.
Please. Whoa.
Wow.
It's very surprising. Yeah.
I don't know what that means, but is that a mic drop moment that you're a Pisces?
I'm just like, most people think like I'm an Aries or like a fire sign, Of
course,
I'm like
of course.
a crybaby, emotional sap.
Aren't we all? She is Erin Holt. She is the functional nutritionist.
Do I walk away?
Clap it up for her.
Away?
Yeah, you can go. Well, that just about wraps up our evening. Again, I want to say thank you to 3S Artspace for having us. Thank you to Three Bridges Yoga for sponsoring tonight's event. We're going to go to the Coop. Again, it is right inside Earth Eagle Brewing, next to Three Bridges Yoga. We're doing a lot at Seacoast Stories. If you want to support, that QR code is just to follow, subscribe to the podcast if you aren't already. If you want to come to a dinner club, that's where you do it. New newsletter, Substack. We've got a little sign-up sheet back there. If you want to just write your name, we'll take your email down. We'll send you some stuff, and we won't spam you. It'll be good stuff, I promise. Otherwise, have a lovely evening, and we will talk to you again very soon. Thank you.